If you can't trust and love your own sexuality, your partner, the woman that you bring, will not feel safe, which means they will not be able to open up fully. They will not be able to fully receive you. They will not be able to surrender to the masculine presence that you are supposed to be embodying. Men, let's talk about your sexuality. I am not here to judge you. What's up, beautiful beings? My name is Maya and I am a shamanic practitioner. You are most welcome in this sacred and safe space with me as we talk about all things taboo. And yes, let's talk about male sexuality. So in this video, we're going to discuss the dark truth of NoFap culture and the importance of semen retention and practicing self-masturbation and self-pleasure and self-love. So one of the key things that I am seeing happening is how male teachers are speaking to other men about male sexuality. And you all are so hard on each other when it comes to your sexuality. And this is creating more shame. The NoFap culture, even though it comes from a beautiful place and with beautiful intentions, it's just creating more shame, more hate, more sexual guilt, more sexual shadows. And it's really repressing those primal forces in you. And it's also repressing your own self-love for your body, for your cock, for your ability to be a sexually expressive being. Now, I know you're men, and I know that you need discipline in order to achieve goals, and that's just how your psyche works. But when NoFap culture tells you that if you were to go and do it, to give yourself a moment of love, that all of a sudden this is evil, this is bad, this is shameful, that you are a fucking loser. Okay, that's not helping your sexual expression. That's not helping you to be a beautiful and powerful being that comes from a space of love, right? This power that I'm seeing a lot of these men rise up in this NoFap culture, it comes from a space of fear, actually. And when you're coming from a space of fear, when you're approaching your sexuality, how do you think your woman is going to feel when you are making love with her? She's not going to feel safe. If you can't trust and love your own sexuality, your partner, the woman that you bring, will not feel safe, which means they will not be able to open up fully. They will not be able to fully receive you. They will not be able to surrender to the masculine presence that you are supposed to be embodying. Now, let's throw away that supposed to, because that is another thing of NoFap culture. It's setting these high expectations of what a man is supposed to be and how a man is supposed to perform. And whether that is in the NoFap culture or not, this is just something that is really common across the table when it comes to toxic masculinity. Now, don't let me lose you at the word toxic masculinity, but I am calling what it is. It is toxic masculinity diving and swimming in this kind of culture. Now, the goddess needs to be in this space. The goddess needs to be invited when it comes to approaching male sexuality, because sexual energy actually comes from the feminine energy, okay? So this is beyond male, female, all right? We're transcending beyond these identities. And in all of our bodies, we have masculine energy and we have feminine energy. And our sexuality is ruled by the feminine, and then it goes and dives into the masculine expression of that feminine energy. Okay, I know that was a lot of woo-woo talk and I don't want to lose you. So sexuality and how the goddess really teaches this is that pleasure is your birthright. Sexuality and sexual expressions are a part of you, and you are allowed to love your body. You are allowed to love your cock. You are allowed to touch yourself and pleasure yourself and make love with yourself. This is allowed, and this should not be demonized. This should not make you feel like you're a worthless piece of shit, because actually when you're able to bring that love more into your body, then you're able to bring that love more into the world around you and more to your partners. So learning to reprogram our bodies and reprogram your sexuality and reprogram your cock to center around this idea of this is my birthright, this is allowed, this is sacred, this is beautiful, I'm allowed to feel this, I'm allowed to have this, I'm allowed to express this. Now, it's retraining our bodies to accept our sexual expression, to accept these primal energies that come to us very naturally. Because the more we repress it, the more we have fear of it, the more we deny it, creates more rape in this world, more sexual abuse, it creates more self-abuse of your own cock, it creates more self-worthlessness, it devalues self. I mean, the list goes on, it goes on. So let's talk about semen retention. Semen retention is a very ancient practice that stems from the idea of preserving your energy, circling your sexual energy and keeping it within rather than releasing it, and only releasing it really when you need to. And so there's this beautiful story, I'm gonna totally butcher it, but it's about a king who was able to have 46 or something wives, and he was able to pleasure them all and also have his own orgasms and his own pleasures because he practiced semen retention. So he was able to make more love, to please his lovers more, his wives more, because he kept his seed inside. So in Taoist traditions, they say that when you release your seed and you ejaculate, you are releasing 36 to 48 hours of energy equivalent. And so evolutionary, you are telling your body every time you ejaculate and release is that, okay, I released my seed and now I am procreating, so now I can leave my seed to do the work and I'm just gonna relax for a bit because now I'm really tired from ejaculating and I'm just gonna be lazy for a little bit. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that, really. Like, we are meant to ejaculate every once in a while. Like, you are meant to release your body and procreate, but also sometimes ejaculate for the fun of it. Like, it doesn't always have to be for procreation purposes. And so there's nothing wrong with that. But you will notice how in your body that if you're ejaculating every day or even once a week, you're probably a lot more tired, and actually you can use that seed, that energy, and you can keep it in your body rather than release it so that you can achieve your goals and achieve the things you want and be that proper hunter that our primal energies have us being. Again, let's move away from who you're supposed to be and what a man is supposed to be, but I'm just saying this is the stereotypes that have arisen. And so with semen retention, you are allowed to still, you are encouraged to still pleasure yourself, to still make love with yourself, to still enjoy your body and to enjoy all that you are. You are allowed to touch your cock. And you can have full body orgasms as well, doing tantric practices actually without even touching your cock. So there's really a whole other world out there when it comes to sexual expression and pleasure. And I really, really advise you, beautiful male beings, to dive into this world because there's so much out there for you where you can really love your sexuality and love yourself and feel safe in your sexuality. And once you're able to embrace your sexuality, then your partners and those women will be able to feel safe with you too. And you'll be able to attract more women. You'll be able to attract your dream woman, your dream partner, and have your dream relationship. And you will no longer be a servant to your sexuality, but rather you will be empowered by your sexuality. So you are allowed to still have sexual expression, but who do you want to be? Servant to it, or do you want to be the master of it? And that's where semen retention practices will serve you the best. Now, semen retention, that whole idea is what then led to the NoFap culture. So the NoFap culture comes from that idea. But instead, semen retention in the tantric world is saying you can touch your cock, you can have sex, you can do all these things you want, but practice edging. Practice not releasing, but getting to that point, and your orgasms will feel so much more intense. So if you are interested in this, I am not an expertise on the deepness when it comes to practicing semen retention because I don't have a cock myself, but there are many amazing teachers out there who do practice this from a space of love rather than giving you more fear and more shame that seems to be in the NoFap movement. And so finally, just to touch upon porn addiction, I think we all know that porn addiction can lead to more anxiety and depression and this dopamine release that then will lead you to only wanting novelty, and then it's harder for you to be more devoted to your partner. But there's nothing wrong every once in a while say you're in a devoted relationship and you're always with your partner, but sometimes you just need something a little new, a little spicy every once in a blue moon. Once a month, you're like, I want to have a date with myself and watch porn. Like, nothing's wrong with that. It's when the addiction part gets in, and it's when that porn begins to take control over you, and again, you become in service to your sexuality rather than the master of your sexuality. So just being aware and conscious of what is ruling you rather than you ruling it. And so now I want to get into orgasmic breath practices. So in a previous video, I discussed the importance of orgasmic breath and why you should be practicing it. And I regret in that video I didn't really speak to the male body and how orgasmic breath can be really something for you when practicing semen retention, because it allows you to experience full body orgasms without ejaculation, without touching your cock. And it's really, really amazing to begin to help teach you about circulating this energy and keeping it inside without releasing it. And the beautiful thing about beginning to practice things like tantric practices or orgasmic breath is that you're taking this energy that's concentrated right at your sex area and where you are ejaculating, of course, and the orgasm would only be centered around there, and you're actually bringing it up to the whole body, and you're able to experience more intense forms of pleasure. You're able to experience more of how women experience their orgasms. So I really suggest checking out that video and learning more about it, but also I have a workshop that I just launched all about orgasmic breath. It's only 40 minutes. I give you a shamanic guidance, taking Taoist ancient practices with my shamanic practice to bring you the most pleasurable experience. I've had the most amazing feedback on this beautiful workshop. So go check it out. It is for all bodies, not just women, and is especially going to be beneficial for you men. So have a beautiful sexual reclamation journey. Thank you for watching this full video. I really appreciate it. Goddess really appreciates it. The woman of the world really appreciates it. And the divine masculine really appreciates it. Much love to you. Don't forget to subscribe below and have so much love and beauty and sex and pleasure. And please, down below, just write any questions or comments that you have, and I am here for you. I am in service to you. Mwah.